program was pre-recorded.
You've entered the Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher, political analyst and socio-political prophet, and Kevin Gallagher, TV and podcast host and opinionated jackhole. So settle in, grab a beverage. It's time to talk some politics. It's Fletch Nation. Now here are the boys.
Here are the boys. Glad to have you with us for another Fletch Nation as we come to you. As we record this, it is the 5th of April.
No, he's not Rob Ryan.
I am not Rob Reiner. Oh my God.
No, the former coach at the Saints. Remember the defensive coach? Had the long hair like you?
Oh yeah. What
was his name?
Was it Rod Ryan? Rob
Ryan, right?
Rod Ryan, yeah. I used to work with Bill Profita on the radio for many, many years, and he called him Fat Fabio. Fat Fabio. And then I got my hair cut.
Okay.
I don't have a good excuse for the hair, folks. I just haven't been to see anybody. I haven't had a haircut in 6 months. I don't know.
Well, happy Easter to everybody.
Hey, back at you, man. I hope you have a wonderful Holy Week. You're certainly dressed very
Got my Easter color on.
I kind of went for a robin's egg. I guess it's not quite a robin's egg blue. Maybe a dark periwinkle.
Oh, okay, periwinkle. Of course, yes, Kevin. I know the color well. So, Kevin, last week you were sick, and
Yeah,
I hope you recovered. And,
Oh yeah, just a little thing.
and we did a show on sort of the permanent, what I call the permanent division of America, it seemed. And this week hasn't settled my thoughts about that at all. This has been a week in the history of this country. Of course, obviously, on Friday or Thursday, whichever one it was, that the leaks got stronger and stronger, and Trump was going to have to go to New York City, be arraigned, gets up there, everybody's guessing about what, because it wasn't released, what the indictment was going to say. And then yesterday, we got the indictment. And the indictment charged 34 counts of the same act, basically, and charged him as a felony. But under New York law, well, what they charged him with was a misdemeanor. And a misdemeanor whose statute of limitations had already run. A couple of years ago it had run. And so there, everybody was waiting to read the underlying crime. That the way it was charged is that these misdemeanors were jackbooted into a felony charges by saying that there was another crime attached to it. Well, the DA, Bragg, etc., didn't give us the other crime in the indictment. And by the way, the indictment in the arraignment is to alert the defense, the criminal, the defendant, about what he's being charged with or she's being charged with, so they can start to prepare a defense. Bragg didn't do that. So we don't know what the underlying charge is, but most experts are saying can only be one, and that he's alleging some sort of federal campaign finance violation. Except the problem is he is a DA in the state of New York, and that is not within his jurisdiction to bring a federal.
It's not up to him to prosecute federal.
That's a U.S. attorney, which is interesting because the U.S. attorney in the Southern District turned down the case, as did Cy Vance, who was the DA in New York City before Bragg. And Bragg even turned down the case. Then he bought this guy, Michael Colanione, I can't say his name, from the DOJ, and most people are speculating that is the Biden way into the case, was for him to bring this guy from DOJ in. So then they charge. And the underlying, I don't think this case will ever get to a jury. I don't think it'll ever get heard at all, because one is that it was charged improperly. the indictment is flawed because the charges that are being made, the statute of limitations have already run on them. Number two, they're not felonies, they're misdemeanors under New York law, and if the underlying crime is the federal thing, the federal campaign finance violation, the FEC has already ruled in its rulings that this is not a campaign finance violation. They ruled that back in 2019. So, and I think that the FEC depended on a case. I don't think they did it in their opinion, but I think they were dependent. If you remember, the FEC brought a criminal case, or U.S. attorneys did, but for the FEC, brought a criminal case against John Edwards. Much similar situation.
Very similar situation.
Only worse. Here's the deal. If you don't remember, I'll tell you, John Edwards was running for vice president. There was a woman doing a documentary. Edwards had an affair with a woman.
Edwards had a child with that woman.
I was going to say. And they had a child. And she was working in some way with the campaign. And then some of the contributors for Edwards, out of, I think, some lawyers out of Dallas, put up a bunch of money and paid her off under an NDA. Well, they bought the charge that he had violated campaign finance law and so on and so forth. These other people, these third parties giving the money, not cited as a campaign contributions, and the jury found him innocent, or did not find him guilty. They acquitted him. And so that's even worse than this, because this is Trump paying the lawyer, and what they got Trump on is that they cited on the memo to the check. They said legal fee. Well, what do you think this was? They were paying Michael Cohen. It was a legal fee. Now, what they did was bump up the amount of money so Cohen would not have to pay taxes. They paid the taxes for Cohen. I forget what they call it, a upcharge or whatever it is. And so the whole thing is kind of, frankly, kind of ridiculous. And then you have to look at it, well, if it's legally ridiculous, what is the point? And the point is politics.
Get Trump.
Get Trump. And let me tell you something. There's no doubt in my mind that one of the reasons that this is going on is to keep saying that Trump had a relationship with Stormy Daniels. What is the focus?
You can call it that.
Well, what is the focus of that? The focus of that is suburban women. Okay? Married women.
Soccer moms.
Oh, he's cheating. Except there's one problem with that. Stormy Daniels in 2017 or 2018 filed an affidavit saying they did not have an affair. Yesterday, also what occurred in court, in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, United States Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, Trump was awarded $122,000 in
owed to him by
Stormy Daniels, because she's basically filed a frivolous lawsuit and they're popping her for court costs and so on and so forth, and legal fees. So yesterday was a really mass confusion of stuff, but the implications of it are serious, and when we come back I want to talk about the implications of it.
By the way, CNN was covering the indictment of Donald Trump live like it was the Macy's parade. 3 minutes, we'll be right back with more Fletch Nation.
Well, it was.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
You could be driving a...
Now's the time to save on new Accords during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana. Get our lowest prices and biggest savings on our largest selection of Accords this year. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana, I-49 just south of Opelousas.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Caught spiders.
Premier Pest Services.
Back to Fletch Nation, coming to you from the old school barbecue smokehouse on Coursey Boulevard in Baton Rouge, the state capital. And I'm telling you, there's good reason they call it the old school barbecue smokehouse, because it's
Old school,
made from scratch. I mean everything, even the barbecue sauce. And you need to come by and check it out. But before the break, we were talking about the indictment of Donald Trump, and I noticed that some news outlets are making history making. It's the first time a former seated U.S. president.
Well, it is history making.
But it's like, yeah, it is history making. Two bad histories being made on what amounts to chicken crap.
It could be. I mean, I don't think it'll ever get to in front of a jury, but I'm a pedestrian lawyer. What the hell do I know?
I was listening to Clay Travis and Buck Sexton speculate that when it finally does actually go to a judge, the judge will say, dismisso.
I tell you
even
what,
some liberal judges might dismiss
I
it.
talked to a really, really fine lawyer who had served in Congress this morning. And we talked for about an hour about it. And he said, I just don't think procedurally this case will ever get to a courtroom. He said there are just too many flaws to what's happened, etc. And we went through it. And one of the gentlemen in here just reminded me.
One of the customers here at the Old School Barbecue Smokehouse.
Yeah, just reminded me of, and I'm glad he did, was there was a leak of the indictment. How many counts and all that to CNN.
Yeah. How did we know how many counts were in a sealed indictment?
They leaked it. Let's put it this way.
Bragg leaked it.
Huh?
Or Bragg or someone in his office under his orders.
Look, there's only one place to get. If you're on the grand jury, you're just a regular person. Why would you leak that? You can go to jail for a felony. There wasn't but one person that had a cost-benefit ratio on that thing, and that was Bragg.
All right, well, I have some questions about it I want to ask you. First, the one I posed during the commercial break to you. Has Alvin Bragg committed professional malpractice?
There are a lot of people that are much brighter than me that believe he has. That he has committed malpractice and prosecutorial misconduct both.
Do his constituents deserve better?
Do they care?
That's a really good question.
Because here's the deal, and this is what's frightening about this whole thing. Donald Trump in front of a jury in New York, if There was no evidence whatsoever, and trust me, we're very close to no evidence whatsoever. If there was no evidence whatsoever, would still be convicted. Why? Because they hate him, and there would be political revenge. Okay, and that's what's so dangerous about this. Is you pick and you choose your jurisdiction, and then you bring it against somebody that the jury of their peers are not their peers. You take them in. Washington, D.C. is a perfect example. That's another place. Atlanta, Georgia is another. Well, it just so happens where are the 3 cases against Trump? New York City, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta, Georgia.
Liberal Democrat bastions all.
All of them one of them has a president who picked an attorney general who's a Democrat that will be heard in front of a judge who's a Democrat. In New York, the DA is a Democrat. The judge is a Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and Biden Democrat. Contributed to Biden. His daughter worked for Kamala Harris in the Biden campaign. And in Atlanta, Georgia, you got another Soros DA. So what is just about that? That bothers me greatly. And just because you want a conviction, let me tell you something. That can happen to somebody you like somewhere else that don't like him or her. And when it happens, you're going to get all complaining. But that's what the precedent is being set here. Turnabout is fair play in this situation, is the way some people are looking at it.
Another question that arose while I was flipping through Twitter and Facebook, and some people are, there's a lot of speculation. So what's the motive? What do they hope to actually get from this? Because some people don't believe that the Democrats even think we're going to get a conviction. So what I'm hearing people speculate is what they're trying to get is another January 6th type incident. They want zealots to do something rash in defense of Donald Trump.
Yes, and there's been a lot of talk by Republicans. Don't do it.
Glenn Beck, the talk show host, has been really making a lot. Don't do
anything like that, because if you do, you set yourself up. But that I don't think that's what they want out of this. If they get it, they would be happy. I would say that much. But I think what the ultimate thing is here is this is about making Trump anathema to suburban women. And I'm convinced of that. I mean, the whole taint of the affair and the indictment, and they taint him completely.
Did women turn out for him in 2020?
No, but I mean, if he would have done better with women, that would have been. But obviously,
so this is just to ensure that he continues to do poorly.
Yeah, well, but here's the obvious thing to me is that Biden is not doing well with those women.
No, because they got to take care of families.
They got to take inflation and so on. And so what do? They poison the opposition. Okay, and that's where we are with this thing. I mean, it's a whole case of poisoning this guy and keeping him from being.
So what I'm hearing you say is that the whole thing is laying the groundwork for an anti-campaign.
Absolutely. It's the other thing that has been offered, and I don't disagree with this, frankly, is the notion that this is being done in order to make Trump a martyr, in order to get him into the general election, because then they know they can beat him.
Do they?
That's what they think they can. Okay, that he would be easier to beat than DeSantis. The problem with that theory has been is that since this indictment thing started in New York, when it really got hot, Trump has gone up like 14 points with Republican voters, and has also gone up. He's taken a lead over Biden nationally.
Right now, the gap between him and DeSantis is huge.
It's huge because Trump has become much bigger than Trump. If that was possible, that's what he's become. He's become a symbol. He's become a symbol, a martyr.
What the meme I read to you? Actually, I think maybe I didn't read it to you, but Marty, the floor director, but Before the show started taping, I saw a meme on Facebook. Somebody said, a kangaroo court on the week of Passover. Where have we seen that happen before?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like, wow, what a comparison. You're not seriously making that comparison.
That's a little rough for me. But,
yeah,
but
no,
the point,
don't make that comparison.
No, that's kind of wrong. But the point of it is that, yeah, and so last week I talked about partisanship as making your worldview. And what we have here is partisan. I'm being partisan as I can be right now. I guess I am. But you're going to see these events in the way that your partisanship directs you to see them.
When we come back, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back,
which is wrong.
Let's talk about, is this an unhealable divide for the United States?
That's a good question.
Fletch Nation returns in a moment.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The season of inspiration is the perfect time to discover the enhanced Mazda CX-5, named a 2022 IIHS Safety Pick Plus Award winner, its highest safety award honor. Choose from over 45 CX-5s available at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi, welcome back to Fletch Nation. So, what Roy and I were kind of talking about, and this also, if you watched last week, it was the theme of Roy's show, was we've got this growing political divide between the left, the right, the progressives, the conservatives, the liberals, the Republicans, the Democrats, whatever you want to call them. But the people who, and I've always thought of it as this, Roy, there's the people who think that the world should be a certain way, and they want to work to make the world fit that image that, you know, in other words, they're all about the way things ought to be. And then we have the people who are, let's deal with things as they are and make that work for us. That's, in my mind, the conservatives. You know, you don't see many conservatives that are social engineers, and these are divides that, I mean, people can't see eye to eye. Families break up over this
stuff. Well, I mean, we're talking about, as I said last week, you're talking about basic things. Patriotism, love a country or a nation state. You're talking about religion. You're talking about having children. All of those things have declined dramatically. The only thing going up is money. Want money. But, and it's all kind of underlying, what's underlying that is your different worldview. It comes out of partisanship. It's seen through partisanship. And it's so divided. I said last week, it's so divided that what we're doing is all of those things where we see it dropping, those indices that we see drop, are undermining basic values, basic traditional American values that are enshrined in the First, Second, Third, Fourth Amendments, okay? Now, speech, religion, assembly, so on and so forth. What better example of that? Go read the Fourth Amendment. What better example of that than we had this week in New York City? That nobody cares about those basic values because they're all caught up, or don't care which side, they're all caught up in the partisanship, the worldview that they have. Trump bad, Biden. We Democrats, we hate everything Republican, we hate everything Democrat, whatever side. And it's just unbelievable. And nobody wants to step back from that. And we can't step back from it now. You know what? Alvin Bragg.
Yeah.
And this action.
He's kind of forced our hand, hasn't he?
He's forced everybody's hand. And it's not going to be the last one, by the way. There's another one coming, and then another one.
Oh, yeah.
There's an indictment coming out of Georgia.
Yep.
And then there's going to be an indictment coming out of Washington, D.C.
There are going to be people lining up to go after him.
Well, there's going to be 3 more indictments.
You throw enough stuff up against him, and something's going to stick.
Yeah. I mean, and this case on the documents is so clear. By the way, this week it's become very obvious that DOJ does not have a substantive crime in that case. What they're talking about now is obstruction. They bought in, which is a process crime. They bought in all of the people. They're bringing in all the Secret Service agents in front of the federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. Obviously, it's about obstruction all of a sudden, not a substantive crime. And it's just that reeks. All of that reeks. And so whether you hate him or whether you don't hate him, understand this can happen to the other side just as quickly as it happened.
Right.
What you're doing to him.
And I was just going to offer up to any of our Democrat friends that are watching this program or listening to this program that is this the way you want to win, by using the criminal justice system to affect an election that hasn't even begun yet? I mean, we're talking about the 2024 campaign, and they're trying to use the criminal justice system to affect Donald Trump's candidacy in an election that hasn't begun.
I'll put it even more clear. Is this, either side, is this what you want? Is this what you want the country to be? That you have to fear where you live and the things that come out of your mouth where you live because you may be indicted.
Yeah.
And you may be convicted because people they hate whatever that other side is so much. I mean, you can see how that would happen. I fall back to something. There is a poll that was out right before the indictment, and it was asked about the indictment, and it said that about 55% of the country believed that Trump ought to be indicted. They didn't say why, they just said here. 76% of the country believed that it was all political. So what does that tell? We want him indicted anyway, even though we know it's political.
We know it's political, but do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unbelievable. And I was hoping that what we see is fairness out of that, but apparently that it's gone. This division has gone so deep. There is no fairness, no product of fairness. There's no sense of fairness in the public.
And also, I fear forever that what may be going away is the idea that the end does not justify the means.
It does not. I mean, we have a due process system, and that's what it means, due process. And unless you've been in it, you don't understand the importance of due process. But due process is essential. Fairness, due process, and a sense that you got a fair shake to present your evidence. And that's what all of that is being attacked in New York and in other places. And so all that does is exacerbate this division. It exacerbates this partisan vision, this one world versus nationalist, traditionalist on one side, and the one world is on the other. That's all it does. And it's continuing to do that. And that's what bothers me the most about all of this. It's just the absolute lack of willingness to understand what due process and what being fair means.
Yeah, and bipartisanship. Nobody wants to do anything in a bipartisan fashion anymore. Nobody wants to compromise.
This should not be partisan or non-partisan. If it is a crime, okay. But if it's this negligible BS that we saw yesterday, that's partisanship should not be involved in criminal justice like that. It just should not be. Because that does not grant you the right as a citizen when you are the recipient of the DA's wrath. Okay?
Yep.
That's the problem.
Well, here's what I say. You can count the months between now and Alvin Bragg being appointed to a federal judgeship.
Okay.
For doing what somebody asked him
to do? I wonder who that would be.
He already declined to take it to the grand jury, and then he changed his mind and did it.
Well, they had to send that guy from DOJ up there to manufacture this bogus crap that they did. And folks, I don't mean to be ugly about it, but I just think it's bogus. I mean, I'm sorry.
Federal judgeship for Alvin Bragg.
I'll say if it's real, though. I'll say if it's real in those other cases.
Fletch Nation back in 3 minutes.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
The biggest sale of the year is happening right now during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on every new Honda. That's right, you choose and make no payments for 90 days at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
All right, we're back with Fletch Nation, and thank you so very, very much for staying with us. Roy?
Okay, let's talk about politics, because that's something I know a little something about.
Yeah, and we do that from time to time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get way out there. Wisconsin last night, the Republican incumbent on the state Supreme Court got hammered by a very left woman, Democrat. Changed the Supreme Court in Wisconsin to 4-3 Democrat. Vote. They had ruled. The court, I think, had ruled that voter ID laws are constitutional in Wisconsin. This will be taken back up, and voter ID laws will be stripped away in Wisconsin.
Wow, simple.
Wisconsin's one of those.
Who you say you are?
Wisconsin's one of those states that we have to win, and you know, along with Arizona and a couple of other states, if we're going to, and frankly, that's not good news. Okay, not good news. Just being very honest with it. That is interesting, given also that this. I don't know what leftist, how far left this guy is in Chicago that got elected.
Oh, the new mayor?
Oh, Lord. But he's, I mean, he is out there.
He's Lori Lightfoot with a Y chromosome.
He is out there, brother. That's interesting because in this country, those two things, oh, by the way, yesterday there was a state rep in North Carolina switched parties to Republican, which changed the dynamics of North Carolina because now the Republicans can override the Democratic governor's veto. They have a supermajority now in North Carolina.
We recently had that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we had Francis Thompson, long time Democrat, became a Republican, and that gave the Republican supermajority in the state legislature.
Well, you know, Kevin.
But then Stephanie Hilferty went back to the Democrat Party.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah. Bunch of movement. But that's interesting because in this country that happened. But if you look other places, you don't necessarily see that. Right? What I'm talking about. Finland this week. The dancing queen of Finland and the prime minister there, you know, the one they caught on tape having a big party right in the middle of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
When everybody's locked down.
Not the only one.
Yeah, not the only one. But she got beat. She got hammered. By the right, the conservative guy won that race. I didn't talk about this a couple of weeks ago. In Netherlands, the Farmer Party, the farmers in Netherlands took over the parliament, apparently, or whatever they call their, of the Netherlands, and won a majority. There is some upset people in the Netherlands over what they're doing with climate change, whatever the hell it is.
They're killing farmers over there. I mean, not literally killing them, but they're
destroying their businesses, and they're taking their land. They're taking their land without just compensation, apparently. I don't know. I mean, I've read several different accounts of it. I don't know if it's without compensation or they just season it or whatever's going on. But that happened there. And then Berlin had a referendum on what do they call this? zero carbon emissions, or they
carbon zero is what they call it.
Yeah, carbon zero. And Carbon Zero got his brains beat out in Berlin. It was pretty interesting. In Berlin, got hammered, like it was over 80% against this Carbon Zero carbon, or whatever you call it, a referendum there. So the Europeans, while we going on here, the Europeans seem to be taking a position that maybe they're going right and not left.
I think what we're seeing,
and you see it in Macron is just getting hammered.
Maybe we're seeing a worldwide shift to more and more people just getting tired of being told how they're supposed to feel, and how they're supposed to behave.
Now, worldwide, we got about 4 minutes. Worldwide, there's other things that are going on while we're so totally focused on the Trump thing. Saudi Arabia, Iran, brokered a peace deal, which they hate each other. They're Sunnis and Shiites. They hate each other. But they brokered a peace deal. Who was the broker in that? The broker party in that was China. They put the deal together. China has, and apparently these countries are going to now be in BRIC, Brazil, whatever they call it, is a developing country, They have in this BRIC thing all of the basic, all producing countries of the world in this thing. Brazil, I can't remember all who it is, but it's Russia, Brazil, Russia, Indonesia, China. I believe that spells BRIC. So they do this peace deal. And China buys a bunch of oil from Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia says, no, pay in your currency, not in American dollars, okay? Now, that would be one thing. But in Japan did the same thing, buying natural gas from Russia, I believe. And made the deal. I mean, didn't even think about it. The Prime Minister of Malaysia said yesterday, we don't care what the United States wants anymore. We could care less.
Yeah.
So what's happening is that the dollar is being replaced as the international currency, which means prices are going to go up here. All kind of things will transpire out of that.
Yeah, and it's probably, the heir apparent is probably the Chinese yuan.
Yes, absolutely. That's what it is. That's what it's going to be. That the ruble, because I mean, Russia is selling so much to China now, natural resources. But I think it'd be the yuan. That it only makes the point that the Chinese have used this situation and all of this that's going on as a way to become very, very much in the same league as the United States in terms of world power. And today, the ambassador or the prime minister of Taiwan came into California to see Kevin McCarthy, and they had all kinds of demonstrations there in Taiwan's favor. But China immediately sent a message, is that we don't like that, and we're going to take retribution with respect to Taiwan.
I was going to leave this segment with a quote, and I just looked it up so I could attribute the quote to the author, G. Michael Hopf, and you probably heard this. Weak men create hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Now, which phase do you think we're in right now?
I would say we're down there in the fourth trough.
Yeah, I think we're in the weak men creating hard times.
Well, I mean, if you take just the recruitment and the enlistment into the United States military, it's at an all-time low now. I wonder why, because nobody believes in patriotism anymore, or the nation state, or whatever the case may be. With that, we'll be right back.
All right, more to come, Fletch Nation.
Is that
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club. a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonCountryClub.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Welcome back to Fletch Nation, brave new world which has such creatures in it. Roy and I were discussing this during the commercial break, and I think we were looking at it on a crawl on Fox News a couple minutes ago. There are a lot of people now starting to be concerned about something called AI, artificial intelligence. It's already in use in a lot of simple things. They haven't really developed a computer yet that can straight up think for itself on an ongoing basis. I don't think.
But they've had AI refuse in some minimal kind of ways to do what the human told them to do. Mm-hmm. They absolutely refuse to do it. In short, I saw this guy, I forgot who it was, you know, who got me really started on this, and I haven't read as much as I should, but I'm going to take care of that soon. But Elon Musk got me started on that because he has rung the bell and said, y'all better get a hold of this AI stuff. And one of the reasons that he rang the bell was because of this computer or computers at some place, and I can't remember where, had refused to do some minimal kind of tasks. They told them humans, no, we're not doing that. You're stupid. And so, but this guy that I was listening to said, look, he said, evolution as we perceive it, whether you believe it or not, but evolution as we perceive it, is about to end for humans. The evolution that's going to occur is in the capacity and the intelligence of AI. And as AI takes over, humans will devolve, not evolve. They won't go higher, they'll go lower.
If you hand over creativity and innovation to machines, people won't innovate, they won't be creative anymore because there's machines for that.
But Musk says that, look, in 5 years, you will be able, what will happen is, if you want to know about something, let's say you want to know about World War II, you plug into the computer, and you will become completely filled with all the information there possibly can be about World War II. And you will know all that. I don't know how that works, but he said that's where we're headed.
Cerebral interface?
Yeah, and if you want to
input data directly into your brain.
Let's say you're a heart surgeon. Actually, you're a 6th grade educated person, I guess, that dropped out of school, but you want to do heart surgery. Plug in to the computer, and you'll know everything there is to know about heart surgery. I don't know how. I don't understand it.
Okay, Roy, did you ever see The Matrix, the original one?
Yes,
Matrix?
yes.
Remember
yes.
Keanu Reeves? He stands there with his eyes closed for a second, and he looks up and he says, I know Kung Fu, because they just jacked it into it.
Just jacked it into it, right. And of course, all of this leads back to the great movie of The Terminator. Mm-hmm. And as the machines, as it opens and he comes in, and he left the machines taking over. They were destroying L.A. or something like that.
Well,
the machine.
We had handed over control of everything to Skynet.
That's Skynet.
Skynet.
That's what it was.
Was a problem-solving program, and decided the problem was us.
Yeah, and they had these big machines, these big monsters. Well, the other day I'm looking on internet and the web, and I ran across this picture of machine dogs being used by police forces in some of these major cities.
Boston Dynamics makes those. Those are amazing. They're creepy,
a machine dog.
Amazing.
Machine dogs, not machine guns. Machine dogs.
It's a robot dog.
Robot dogs, whatever they are. RoboCop.
It's like you've seen them, I think. Body, 4 legs. The back legs are bent inward like a dog's.
Exactly.
And instead of a neck and a head, there's usually maybe a camera on a stalk.
Yeah. But they know what to do. They're running their own business is basically what they're doing. And
they react to the environment around them. Adapt.
And they adapt, which means
they improvise.
Right, which means they learn. If they adapt, they'll learn it.
That's something
as
that they call heuristics in the computer world. It's software that can learn and rewrite itself.
It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. And here's what really bothers me about it. A couple of years ago, I heard about it. Maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, that's the future. Folks, the future is now. It is moving so quickly toward a culmination of machines having this kind of intelligence and ability and discernment.
Right here in front of us, we've each got a computer that holds
16 times what it took to land on the moon.
Yep,
or more.
64 gigs of data can store on this phone that sits in my pocket. And just minutes ago, I was looking for a quote, and I did boop, 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 typed it in, had it for you. That's not me being a smart guy that remembers a lot of stuff. That's this. And that's where AI will take us. I'm not being smart. I'm not bothering to learn this. I can look it up. I got Google at the tip of my finger.
Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about before we go, and then I want to talk about Easter a little bit.
By the way, about 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's just a couple of minutes. If you remember the Chinese balloon, the CCP balloon that flew over America, and we were told that, we don't know what that is. And then we were told, well, maybe that's, and then we were told, we're going to shoot it down after it gets out of the water because we don't want to hurt nobody. Well, nobody get hurt from the debris, which was all crazy. But they told us.
A Sidewinder missile would vaporize that thing.
Right. But they told us. This guy Kelly at the Pentagon, and some of these other people. And one guy named Jim Scuto or whatever at CNN told us, don't worry about it. They have made sure that there was no information, military information gathered by this balloon. It's all okay. Don't y'all worry about any of that. Well, Monday, NBC reported, no, they got a bunch. The Chinese got a bunch of information. And you, Kevin, kind of gave me the details of it.
Yep. Well, I heard a report from NBC News that said this was not a balloon the first one was not primarily a camera balloon taking images. It was listening. It was monitoring transmissions as it flew over Malmstrom Air Force Base, where all of our atomic bombers and atomic bombs are located, and several other key military facilities.
So what they may have been trying to do was to see how the Americans would react to an unidentified flying object.
They were listening to us.
They were listening, and what procedures they were going through, and what protocols they had, so they can figure out what would happen if they flew like maybe a missile over here.
Or squadron of bombers.
Squadron of bombers? Who knows? But you got lied to again by your government.
You got lied to again by CNN. Sorry, I'm just going to call them like I see them.
You got lied to by CNN.
A news reporter should not be shill for some government agent.
They should not. That's exactly right. So Kevin, this is of course Holy Week.
Yes, it is.
And we need all the holy we can get this week.
Here in Louisiana, I wish I could give you better news, but the weather for Good Friday is not so good. Friday, about an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms across most of the state, but it should start to improve by Saturday, and Easter Sunday should be
pretty.
Should be pretty.
Well, of course it will be, because it's a pretty day, and I look at it as the most important day of my faith and of the Christian faith. There he is, because something miraculously happened. A miracle happened, or at least we look at it as a miracle, and it affected all of us it affected all of us as we go forward about how we live our lives and what we do to improve ourselves and our faith and belief in God and in Jesus Christ, his resurrected Son, and what that means to each one of us personally. But I wish everybody a happy Easter, and I think I'm going to Atlanta.
Yeah? Family?
Me and my dog.
Yeah.
River. We ride to Atlanta.
Well, I hope you have a safe and a happy trip. I think that this time of year, when I think about Easter, I just think about she's not the most popular person in the world anymore, but one of the things that Ellen DeGeneres used to end her show with all the time was a simple phrase: be kind to one another.
Yeah.
And that's really, the teachings of Christ and everything, it's really do unto others, be kind to one another.
I would say be kind, and I would add one other thing: be faithful. And if you can do that, if you have faith that things will be in God's power, that things will be okay, you can live your life with some peace.
So that's going to wrap things up for us. We hope you have a safe and happy holiday weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week when we meet here again. The legislature will be in session.
Happy Easter.
Bye-bye.
To Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher and Kevin Gallagher. Remember, if you heard something that ticked you off, upset your sensibilities, or threatened your precious safe space,
the opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are purely their own and do not reflect those of this radio station or its advertisers.
So if you're calling a lawyer, or planning a boycott, or a cancel campaign, forget about it and join us next week for more Fletch Nation.